Arctic Wolf, The High Arctic, by Laura DeLallo. The first meeting. "Did you hear that?" Dean Clough asked his coworker Dave Mech. The only thing that Dave could hear was the sound of raindrops pounding on the hood of his poncho. It was around 11 o'clock at night on July 6, 2009, but it was still light outside. The two biologists were sitting atop a rocky hill on Ellesmere Island, Canada, waiting to spot an Arctic wolf. Ellesmere Island is located in the high Arctic, the northernmost part of the Arctic region. From mid-April through the end of August, the sun never sets in that part of the Arctic. From late October through mid-February, it never rises. Dean Clough, left, and Dave Mech, right, on Ellesmere Island. Suddenly, Dean heard the sound again. Could it be a wolf howling? Then, about 30 minutes later, Dean and Dave saw something white moving toward them. "A wolf!" Dean shouted. Soon they noticed another one not too far behind. Dave and Dean sat very still. The wolves walked right up to them. It was exactly what the scientists were hoping for. An Arctic wolf. No fear. In most other areas of the world, studying a wolf up close would have been very difficult. Wolves fear humans, who sometimes hunt and kill them for their fur. Other people kill them for sport. As a result, wolves don't usually let humans get very close to them. Adult wolves have no natural predators. Only humans hunt wolves. The Arctic wolf gets its name from the area where it lives. However, the Arctic wolves that Dave and Dean study live so far north that they don't see people often enough to be afraid of them. The nearest human community to the wolves is Eureka, a small weather station and military base located a few miles away. Only a handful of people live there year-round. The Eureka Weather Station. Arctic wolves in the wild. Where Arctic wolves live in the high Arctic. Winter Mystery. The wolves that walked up to Dave and Dean in the summer of 2009 were curious, but not scared, and neither were the two scientists. Dave had been studying the wolves on Ellesmere Island since 1986. In fact, he was the first scientist to study a wolf that lived so far north. As a result, he knew from his studies that Arctic wolves are rarely dangerous to humans. So that's why Dave and Dean just sat calmly on the ground to show that they weren't a threat. The wolves sniffed them and moved on. Dave sits calmly on the ground as two Arctic wolf pups approach him. Dave and Dean wondered how these wolves survived the harsh Arctic winters, which are bitterly cold and dark. Ice and snow cover mountains and valleys. Temperatures can dip as low as -70 degrees Fahrenheit, -57 degrees Celsius. To survive in such an environment, animals need to be able to stay warm enough to move around and hunt for food. Few people live in the Arctic year-round because it is too cold. Dave and many other scientists usually visit the Arctic in the summer, when temperatures rise to about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. The snow-covered Arctic. Adapting to the cold. Arctic wolves are physically well adapted to their freezing world. 2 layers of thick fur cover their bodies. A woolly undercoat keeps the animals warm, while the long hairs of the outer coat protect them from rain and snow. The wolves' bodies have adapted to the cold in other ways too. Their muzzles, legs, and ears are shorter than the same body parts found on wolves living in warmer areas. As a result, these body parts are close to an Arctic wolf's chest and stomach, which are the center of heat in its body. This helps a wolf stay warm. Arctic wolves even have fur between the pads on the bottoms of their paws. It keeps their paws warm as they walk over frozen ground. Throughout the winter, even during heavy snowstorms, the wolf's thick coat keeps it warm. Frozen food. Arctic wolves need more than thick coats to survive the winter. They also need to find food so they won't starve to death. Fortunately, wolves have white coats that help them blend in with their snowy surroundings while hunting. This camouflage allows them to get close to prey without being seen. An Arctic wolf blends into the white snow, making it easier for it to sneak up on prey. Wolves on Ellesmere Island mostly hunt plant-eating animals, such as Arctic hares, caribou, and musk oxen. During the winter, when plants are buried under snow and ice, the plant-eaters have a hard time finding food. Without enough to eat, many of them die of starvation or become too weak to run away or defend themselves from predators. They are then easy prey for the wolves. However, if too many of these animals die from lack of food, the wolves themselves face starvation. The Arctic hares that live on Ellesmere Island don't turn brown like hares in warmer areas. Their fur stays white all year long. Scientists think the reason for this is that the short summer season isn't enough time for their fur to change to brown and then back to white before the land is covered with snow again. Like Arctic wolves, musk oxen, left, and caribou, right, have 2 layers of fur to help keep them warm. Help from Brutus. In July 2009, Dave and Dean were on a mission to find out what it takes for wolves to find scarce prey during the long Arctic winters. To do this, they put a special collar on Brutus, one of the wolves they had recently seen near Eureka. The collar held a tiny computer that recorded Brutus's location every 12 hours and sent the information to a satellite. Dave and Dean then downloaded the locations from the satellite to their home computers all winter long. From the comfort of their homes, they were able to keep track of Brutus's movements. Before Dave, shown here, put the special collar around Brutus's neck, Dean gave the wolf a drug to make him go to sleep. From previous studies, Dave and Dean knew that wolves don't have a permanent home once their pups are old enough to travel. They continually roam their territory, looking for food. However, the scientists discovered something surprising as they studied Brutus's movements. He went far beyond his usual territory in search of prey, even crossing frozen seawater to hunt on other islands. An Arctic wolf's territory during the winter is usually about 250 to 500 square miles, 647 to 1,295 square kilometers. Between July 9th and November 30th, 2010, Brutus covered an area that was more than 949 square miles, 2,458 square kilometers. Brutus wearing the collar. Surviving the winter. Like all Arctic wolves, Brutus was well adapted for traveling long distances in harsh winter conditions. His large, strong feet allowed him to run for long periods of time without tiring. His flexible toes helped him climb rocky hills covered in snow. His strong legs let him run quickly through snow. Arctic wolves can travel up to 5 miles per hour, 8 kilometers per hour, for long periods of time. When chasing prey, they can run up to 38 miles per hour, 61 kilometers per hour, for short periods of time. An Arctic wolf is able to easily climb rocky hills. Wolves like Brutus also have something else that helps them survive in their environment. Other wolves. During the winter, they live in large packs of up to 30 animals. Living this way allows the wolves to find more food. On hunts, the pack sometimes breaks into smaller groups. Splitting up into smaller groups lets the wolves cover more areas in search of prey. It also gives them the chance to watch their prey from different angles. Once a group finds food, they share it with the rest of the pack. Wolves use their powerful senses to find food. They can smell prey from more than 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers, away, and they can hear sounds from as far away as 10 miles, 16 kilometers. These wolves use their noses to sniff for prey. Arctic wolves sharing a meal. We are family. Members of a wolf pack are usually members of the same family. A pack that Dave studied in 1986, long before he met Brutus, included a mother and a father. Dave suspected that the 5 other wolves in the pack were the parents' older offspring. An Arctic wolf pack. In the spring of 1986, Dave followed the pack as they found a huge rock cave to use as a den. They needed it because the mother was about to give birth to 6 little pups. Baby wolves are born deaf and blind, and their fur is thin. It takes at least 12 weeks for them to grow big enough to travel with the pack. So a den provides a warm, safe place for the pups until they are old enough to travel with their family. Pups don't open their eyes until they are 2 weeks old. They don't see well until weeks later. Pups cannot hear until they are about 3 weeks old. 3-week-old pups sleeping in a den. Feeding the family. During his time with the family, Dave watched the wolves raise their pups. For the first 3 weeks, the mother wolf fed her pups by letting them drink milk from her body. Then, when they were old enough to eat solid food, the pack began to bring meat to them. At about 7 weeks old, pups begin taking short walks with adults. Dave was curious about how the pack hunted for food. So one day, he followed the adult wolves as they left the den. After some time had passed, they found a herd of musk oxen. The wolves immediately rushed toward the herd, causing the oxen to run. Once the mother wolf grabbed a calf, some of the other wolves jumped on the animal to push it down to the ground. By the end of the day, the pack had caught 2 more calves. An adult musk ox weighs between 400 and 600 pounds, 181 and 272 kilograms. Calves make easier prey for wolves because they are smaller and slower than adult musk oxen. Arctic wolves chasing a herd of musk oxen. An Arctic wolf attacking a musk ox. Eat, sleep, play. All together, the 3 calves that the wolves caught on their hunt weighed more than 300 pounds, 136 kilograms. The pack ate some of the meat from their kill right away. They buried the rest of it for later use in holes that they dug in the ground, called caches. Then everyone rested before returning to the den. When the pups saw the adults coming back, they ran up to them with their tails wagging. To feed the pups, the adults threw up some of the food they had just eaten. The pups gulped it down. Adult Arctic wolves need up to 5 pounds, 2.3 kilograms, of meat a day to survive. Young wolves need to eat even more than that to be able to grow quickly before winter comes. After eating, they went back to playing and sleeping, which is how growing pups spend most of their time. Sleeping helps their bodies grow stronger. Play fighting with one another helps them learn to compete for food in the wild. About 5 months after they're born, the pups begin to go on real hunts with the pack. Pups gain about 3 pounds, 1.4 kilograms, per week. They can weigh more than 50 pounds, 23 kilograms, before they are 4 months old. Pups love to play fight with one another. Playing tires the pups out. Growing up. Besides sleeping, eating, and playing, pups also practice howling. Wolves generally howl to let members of their pack know where they are. They also howl to let others from different packs know they're not welcome in their territory. Sometimes, however, wolves howl just for fun. A person can hear a wolf howl from more than 5 miles, 8 kilometers away. A pup howling. Pups become full-size adults when they're around 2 years old. By then, they know how to hunt, howl, and survive in the cold Arctic. Young wolves stay with their parents for 1 to 3 years. Then, some leave the pack to find a mate and create their own pack. Wolves start to have pups of their own when they are about 3 years old. Brutus and beyond. Through their research of the wolves on Ellesmere Island, both Dave and Dean have learned a lot about these amazing Arctic animals. Unfortunately, their study of Brutus ended in April 2010 when the information from his collar showed that something was wrong. His location hadn't changed for several days. Dave and Dean realized that 10-year-old Brutus had most likely died. He had lived a long life for an Arctic wolf. Most wolves in the wild don't live to see age 10. Scientists can learn a wolf's age by studying its teeth. Older wolves' teeth show more wear than those of younger wolves. Dave's studying the wear on Brutus's teeth. Brutus and other Ellesmere Island wolves have taught researchers a lot about their lives. Today, Dave and Dean continue to study Arctic wolves, some that are even Brutus's relatives. They also inform other researchers about wolves. They hope to put a collar on another wolf on Ellesmere Island one day. There is still a lot to learn about this cool Arctic predator.